Record. Hello, beautiful brides. My name is Adina in South Africa, and I'm the Language Ministry franchise owner of Love at Last. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Yvonne in South Africa. And Yvonne is our ministry director, and she's also the franchise owner of RMIOU, our online university. Welcome, Yvonne, and welcome to this channel, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Adina, for having me. It's always nice to be here with you and, just have a nice discussion and chat about things. Always wonderful to be here. Thank you. Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you, Yvonne. The reason I invited you to chat with me today is because of something that happened on the Wise Women retreat that we had recently in Cape Town. You went there with a concern that you gave to your husband. And then during the retreat, he gave you an answer. Can you share with us what happened? What was your concern? And how did he answer you?
Yes, so the wonderful thing about what happened this year, I just need to first give you some background. First, ladies, the ones that doesn't know me, I just need you to know that my former husband has married. He's married someone else, so he's married to someone else. And my children are with me, they live with me, but they do visit very often. They visit their father and stepmother and stepbrother as well. So just so you have a little background, so you know what's happening going forward from here. So the thing is, this year, my heavenly husband said, the verse that he gave me said that I'm going to have rest for the first half of the year, which is amazing because the last 3 years has really been a really roller coaster, up and down, emotional roller coaster, and so many things happening. And although he gave me rest, he didn't promise it for my children. And my daughter especially, I've got a boy and a girl. And so my son, he isn't as much affected as my daughter is. But as she's growing up now and she is becoming a beautiful young lady, it's like the relationship between her and her stepmom has changed, where she used to be the princess of the house, and she's the only girl. She was really spoiled that side. I could really see that she got everything that she wanted. The relationship has changed a bit, and I don't know what the reasons are for that, and I can speculate with you, at all times what the reasons are. And I've got my own things that I think could be the reason. But in the end, it's not that, it's just that she's not getting all the attention anymore, because that's not really, I don't think that would have been the problem. The problem is that she's being emotionally, I don't want to use the word bullied because that's a bit strong, So just so you know, that I just want to give you something here, that I know their stepmother loves them. I know that she takes care of them. I know that she takes care of them just like she does her son when my children are there. But of course, when they come home, they don't tell me all the nice things that she did for them, because she does do nice things for them. They come home and they tell me all of the negative things. So just so that the ladies out there know, she's not a monster, she's just the mother that loves her children. But it's just that when my children comes home, they tell me only the negative. So there's a lot of more positive than there are negative, I'm sure. But just so that they come home, and so my daughter comes home, and it's just little things here and there that's being said that really hurts her feelings, and it's not just that, because I really thought that my daughter was a little sensitive for what was being said, but it's not just that, because even her brother recognizes that this is happening, and her father would come to her and he would say, oh, don't worry, oh, don't worry about what was said. And all. So definitely there must be something if everyone around her is recognizing it. So why this is happening, I've got no idea. And it really, it's not nice to hear from your children when they come home and they didn't have a good time with their dad, and you wonder, should they be going? And they don't really want to go, but they also don't want the responsibility of saying they don't want to go, because that would open up a whole new argument and all of that. So it's really a difficult situation. And I've been speaking to my heavenly husband about it, because it really places me in the situation. I can handle a lot, anyone can say what they want to me, and that's fine, but don't leave my children. Any mother feels like that. Any mother is willing to take, and I can say, if someone tries to hurt me with words and all of that, says it's fine, it's okay, I understand. But when it comes to my children, it's not really that I feel that, and I want to really try and solve the problem for them. So that's the whole time what I was busy trying to solve the problem. And I saw that every time that I tried to solve the problem, I just make it worse, And in the end, I just had to throw up my hands and say, I don't know. I have no idea. You gave me these children and you want me to take care of them, but it's like my hands are tied behind my back and I can't take care of them in the way that I need to take care of them. So this was really something that was hurting my heart and that I really had to give to him. But I didn't give it to him fully, because I always took it back, because my children, they're my children. So then I went to the retreat. So as I was on the retreat, I remember we had a little session there where they were talking about a rose and a thorn, and especially they asked, what's the thorn in your in your life? The only thorn that I could think of at that stage was really my children, because he's given me so much rest. And it was really that. And I really can't remember. I know you don't know the whole story of everything that's happened with the children and them going to their father. You know a little bit, but you didn't know a lot. And I don't even think that you remembered what I said in the beginning of the retreat. But I believe it was someone else that asked a question that you answered, and you read something from the Finding the Abundant Life, His Best Protection. Now, I want you to read that, and then I'll tell just how much it touched my heart.
Okay, I'll just quickly read that for you, because it's from Finding the Abundant Life, chapter 12, Your Best Protection. And I read this part. Trying to find protection also spills over to wanting to protect my children. What mother doesn't try to protect her children? Yet I have found, when backed into a corner, my protection for myself and also for my children is basically no protection at all. If you have lived in an abusive situation, you know how life is riddled with schemes of finding safety and protection. Whether that abuse is verbal, emotional, physical, or sexual, you try one way after another to try to stop whatever or whoever is coming against you and or your children. It wasn't until someone really confronted me about my beliefs about abuse, and abuse of the worst kind for a mother, when a father is abusing his own child, that I heard what the Lord, who spoke through me, when the light of wisdom was turned on. I said, a mother can't protect her own child, not when it is her husband or in any other area of a child's life, since she cannot always be with them. Only God can protect them. When we take the position of protection away from God, then that's when we open the child up to attacks that the Lord could have prevented if we have given it to him.
Yes, so when you read that, it was like, and I'm sure it was an answer to something someone else asked. And when you read that, I was just like, wow, exactly. I've done Finding the Abundant Life. I've read it so long ago, I couldn't even remember that that was in there, and maybe when I read it, it wasn't where the circumstances were that my children were really in a difficult, in difficult situation. So I was able to it didn't really stick with me. And then when you read it, it was as if I've heard it for the first time. And of course, he opened my ears to it because he wanted me to hear that. And it really changed the way that I think of it. Now, ladies, let me tell you, I felt backed into the corner. And to tell you the truth, the things that children tells me, it doesn't hurt me less. It still hurts me. It still hurts my heart to hear them say it. But now I'm just able to go to him and say, you know what? You're their best protection. I cannot protect them. Please protect them. And together with that, I need to add something. If you don't protect them from this, I know it's because you've got a reason, because you've got something, that's better for them than what they have now. So, I just needed to add that every time that the children to know that even though they're going again, they're being opened up again to the emotional challenges that they get there. I know that you're their best protection. And if you let them go through this, you let them go through this for a reason. And we don't need to know the reason. And I just want to tell you something quickly that happened. So there was this one time where my son and my daughter, they didn't want to go to their father that specific day. And both of them prayed not going. But their Heavenly Father, in his wisdom, decided they needed to go. And I was really taken aback because I thought, wow, both of them are agreeing. So he's definitely going to answer their prayer. But he didn't. And I could see the disappointment in both of them, and I was disappointed because I was like, my hope was in you to answer this prayer, and you didn't. And the next day when my children returned, and they came and I made them something to drink and we sat down. I said, I just need to talk to you about something, I know that you were disappointed yesterday when your prayers weren't answered, because I could see it, I could really see the disappointment. And you know what? My son, he just said, he says, and what I said to them, I said, and you know what? You know that there's a reason, because I don't want them to lose faith because their prayers aren't answered, which isn't my place in any case to start with, because again, that's my heavenly husband's work, he needs to make sure that happens. But I just needed to talk to them about it, so that my son could teach me. And so I said, and the thing is, you don't always know why he says no. He's got a good reason. And you know what my son said? He says, Mom, and maybe in this life we'll never know the reason, but one day we will. So it's okay, And I was just like taken aback by it, by the wisdom, a little boy would teach his mother. And so I was just there. I think it was confirmed to me that we don't need to worry. He is their best protection and he protects them, And although I was having the worst time that Friday, just trying to understand things, I didn't even have to, because both my children just realized there and then, both of them, well, our prayers weren't answered, but there's a reason it's not being answered. And we may not know the reason. Maybe we may, maybe we'll see the reason here, maybe we won't, and that's okay. And it was just such wisdom that I think sometimes our children can teach us more than we can teach them, So yes, so definitely, just knowing that your children, doesn't matter what their situation is, that he is their best protection, and realizing that, yes, you as mother, you're the caretaker, you look after them, or caregiver, you look after them and you give them love and you feed them and all of that. But in the end, you cannot protect them. In the end, you need to give them in your husband's hands, your heavenly husband's hands, and just let him protect them and trust him to do it, because I think that's probably the most difficult. It's not just giving them to him, but also trusting him to just do it. If you trust him with yourself, then of course your children is safe with him. So definitely, I must admit that that was really, and you would think that some of these things is obvious when you listen to it, but there are some things that you really need to take to him, and he needs to open your eyes to it. And when you look back, like now me, looking back, I'm like, why did I need Adina to read that for me to realize this? Because I need to know this. This is part of his word. He says he protects it. He protects them. And I mean, we've listened to it. We've read it in his word. That wonderful verse. I can't think of where it is written, but it says that he has the mother, he has the mother, and he has her little lambs under him, or something like that. I know it in Afrikaans, so it's difficult to translate it to English, but I've held on to that verse for so long, to know that he has me and he has my children, but he needed to open my eyes and my ears through what you read on that Wise Woman retreat. So yes, and I think maybe I just needed to be in a place where I was backed into a corner and needed, his wisdom in this. Yes. So yeah, that was it. That was what happened. Thank you, Adina.
Yes, because for me as well, I've read this lesson. I mean, before my custody issue started, I've also read this lesson, but it never registered. And then
yes,
as soon as it happened, I remember a lot of times Atara also spoke about this lesson, about children and mothers that are concerned, when they have shared custody or when they have to send their children to their dad. And she always talked about, and that's when I went back to this lesson and I read it again. And that's when it opened my eyes. Also, like you said, it's like at the right time, maybe when you're backed against the Red Sea, then your eyes are open and you fully understand what he's trying to show you. And also the thing is that is mentioned later on in the chapter is that as a mother, when you have divorce papers in your hand, there's basically not a lot you can do, because just as the Lord gave the children to us, he also gave the children to your former husband or your husband. So you cannot, I know, and especially for me that went through the custody, sometimes you just want to run away. You want to take the children and run away.
Exactly that, yes.
No, but you can't, because, it's his children that just as much as they are. So you can't do that, and you can't keep your children away from him. The same when your children still goes to school or to after school activities or to camps, school camps and stuff. You are not always with your children. So you have to surrender their protection to the Lord. But another thing, and also in this lesson, and not just about our children, but also our own protection. So, do you think, or if we can leave our children's protection in his hands, can we leave our own protection in his hands and just surrender it, and our loved ones, like our families?
Yeah, for sure. We can apply this to any part. If you go to the praise reports on the Encouraging Women, you'll read that, just this year, he saved both my brothers from something that could have ended tragically. My oldest brother was in a terrible car accident with someone that was fleeing from the police, and hit him right in front with his little granddaughter in the car. And he was protected from so much harm that could have come to him. And my other brother was in, an incident where they broke into his place and started shooting at them. And both times he protected them from harm. And I think that's everything, he's our best protection, not just physically, but our hearts, Adina. He protects our hearts from hurt and even when it hurts, and we can go to him and we can just spill it all out, and just feel better afterwards. Because how many times have you cried and cried and spoken to someone about your problems, and you came back feeling maybe angry or more hurt, because it's like they are helping you to feel more angry and hurt. But when you go to him and you talk to him, it's like I've never, ever, ever gone to him, cried on his shoulder, and not felt better afterwards, and not felt like, okay, yes, there was never a time where there was not a word from his word that came to my mind or anything like that, where I could say, oh yes, I know, thank you so much, thank you so much for letting me know this. And it's just so beautiful the way that he protects us, our loved ones, and everyone around us. So I applied it now to my children, because that's really what I needed for them. But just thinking about what's happened this year, I could really see his protection for everyone around us, everyone that we love, that he's just there and he's the protection. And if something happens, then we can know, we have that assurance that we can rest in him, because even if he allows something to happen, we know that he's the one that did it, because there's a beautiful verse somewhere, and I think it must be in Job somewhere, where he says it's the Lord that did this, and knowing that it was him that allowed this to happen, and because he allowed it didn't. I love to tell Janine, I love to say to Janine, you know what? You didn't surprise him. He knew exactly what you were going to do. You didn't surprise him, and that's exactly. Nothing is a surprise to him. He knows exactly what's happening, so we can trust that he has the whole picture, and we may not, we may not know the whole picture, but he has, and we can rest in that. We have comfort in that thought. Yes.
Thank you, Yvonne, for that encouraging words and a beautiful message that you gave. But we are running out of time. So I just want to thank you again. And I want to thank everyone that listened to this podcast, and beautiful chapters. I would really encourage everyone to go and read Finding the Abundant Life, chapter 12, Your Best Protection. And then
yes, for sure.
I hope to see you next time, or that you will join us next time and listen to our next podcast. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Please visit us on loveatlast.org for more life-changing courses, or visit encouragingbookstore.com to buy the Abundant Life series of books and many more.